Hello
Yeah.
everyone. Today I have with me SANMATI Addala. She is an 8th grader studying in Future Kids School, Hyderabad. She introduces herself as an aficionado towards science and has a keen interest in research in the field of science. Yet she admires everything around her, and in fact, she tries to excavate and dig out the stories behind everything. Apart from science, her works include on several topics like economics, Indian polity, and civics, history of the world, specifically India, and her key hobby and passion is research. She wants to pursue her future in the field of space research, thereby contributing in some parts to our country. So, welcome, Sanmati, and it's really nice to have you.
It's my pleasure to be on this platform.
So, how do how did the passion for space research come into your mind?
Fascinated whenever I see towards the sky. Like I always think this universe is towards a long stretch and it's always expanding. So from my young age, I have passion towards space and it always fascinates me. So that's how I built up the key interest for research in space. And I feel that we even in our India, the space research is lagging a little behind. So young scientists are very important to give it the boost, and I want to give the contribution to India's space research.
It's so refreshing to hear something like that because in our childhood, whenever we were asked like what's your aim, what do you want to become, the usual cliche answer was that I want to become a doctor. Or at like we proceeded further, then it was I want to become an engineer. So it's a very cliche the profession that we all are running towards. Like the only answer that children can give is like I want to become a doctor or an engineer or something like that. But listening to you say that you want to explore the space and you have interest in space research, that's something very, very refreshing.
Yeah,
So
I feel like a lot of people around me these days we have more programs and more opportunities. So yeah.
how did you come across monomousumi?
So one day, as I said, I also have interest on other topics, and I was doing research on HeLa cells. So then I came across monomousumi, like there was a notification. So then I felt, okay, I did research. The better way to organize my knowledge is if I can participate in this essay competition. And that's how I went to monomousumi essay competition. And it was like a very clear essay competition. You did not have registration process. You did not have a fee, and on top of everything, like it was monthly. So if you don't participate in this month, you have the next month too. So I really like that format. So that's how I came to know about monomously, and I participated in the monthly essay competition.
So, do you find any connection between science and the field of language? Because article writing is basically language, and you have a preference for science. So, how do you collaborate them together?
um, it How much of a knowledge we have, it is very important to express it in a very organized manner so that the people like publicly they can understand what is your work and what is your knowledge, so that even they can gain knowledge. So language is very important. It is like an interface between both of your knowledge and the public. So language is very important, and specifically writing, because you cannot talk to everyone, but writing is one you can express. So writing is a skill which I had from my young age, uh, to which helped me express my research, my work, and my interests in a very better way.
So, any experience where you genuinely felt that language has power?
um, one place where I actually felt that my writing skills have worked out is, apart from the monomousme competition, is that when I in my scholarship examinations and in other places, you have to write extensive answers. And but when you have this writing skill, you can actually work on it and you can actually do it quickly. And one more thing is I also participated in another essay competition, and there also whatever I learned, I could express it better in a very good vocabulary. So that's few instances where I felt that language is very important and it helped me out.
Right, because whatever goes in our mind, if we can't put it on paper, then it's a waste. So language is necessary
Yeah.
to express our emotions and feelings. So it is definitely the tool which we use to express our emotions. How much
Yes.
time does it take for you to write a well-formed article or an essay?
Um, First, I do the research. The research might depend on what the topic is. Like for HeLa cells, it was a very huge topic, so it took about a month. But when it comes to writing, you know how to write, you know what to write. It just depends on how much time you want to give it to write. So if I give 1 day for writing, it would be more than enough, considering other activities too. So it is very important first that you have to know what you're going to write about. Then if you want to write, you can just start it and the flow goes on. That's the magic of writing. And yeah.
Your thought processes make me feel that you are way more matured than your age, and your ideas and your way of thinking is quite different. That I think people should, listen to this and take inspiration, because I really feel that people will benefit listening to you. Now,
Yeah, but there are many people more I have to listen to and I have to learn from.
definitely. We learn by listening and reading and, getting opinions. Everywhere there is something to learn from, and we learn from our surroundings. So it's
Yeah.
important. Now, since you say that research is very important in any field, definitely. So you have researched for your articles as well. Can you tell the viewers how important a research is while you are writing an article?
So as on Earth, we are the only intelligent civilization. Other animals are just like very basic, and we have the ability to think, to speak, and express. So I feel that when you have these many abilities, you have to make good use of it and a proper use of it. So you have such a magnificent world around you and a world beyond it, which is growing every day. So it is very important that you have to learn about not everything, but try to learn the most of everything, like whatever you see around you. And whenever you see things around you and you know about them, it feels very great. Like you know about this is how it is happening. So research gives you, like, you have to learn about, research is not about space or science, but you can do it in everywhere. If you're an artist, you can also research about other paintings, and you can also research about other ways, other methods. So research is not only confined to writing papers and papers, but it is like it is just a small word given for finding out everything around you and trying to understand what it is. So if we have to live as a human, it is research, it's very important, like all other physiological processes.
So, what do you think? Are you an early riser or a night owl? When do you prefer to write all your writings and thoughts?
Um, I don't have a particular time for it. It depends on my mood. Most of the time, I'm a like morning type, but there's many instances when I read it in the night. So it largely depends on my mood. If I'm too enthused, then the whole day I can write. If I'm somewhere disturbed, then yeah, morning or night. So mostly morning.
Right. So, people say that if we don't have emotions or if we don't feel emotions strongly, then we can't write. What do you have to say about it?
True, because even if I have to talk about the Rahila cells, I actually felt like the story behind Henrietta Lacks very emotional, and I felt it. That's the reason I could express it. I could put my foot in her shoes and think in her way and her family's way, and also publicly. So that's the reason I could express better, maybe. So I think you have to anything, it could be space, anything, even you do research about a book, it is important that you have to feel it, you have to understand it, and you should feel the emotion. So that's when you can write properly. I'm talking about writing in a very better way. Just writing for the sake of writing, it's for them. So
For you, what is the most difficult part of writing an article?
um so the most difficult part, if I have to say, might be that um we have a lot of information, and when we start writing an article, we start there's a main point, but when we see that we somewhere get wandered, and we don't, like, we just lose that connection between the main point. Again, we go to the beginning and we try to find, okay, where did I miss it out? So it is very important that you are going with the point. Sometimes when you have a lot of information, you just go out of the point, and that's very important for anything you write, and especially essays. So that's one thing I feel is difficult in writing.
Right. Writers tend to wander off somewhere in their writings. Somewhere we get carried away with our emotions or our knowledge. So we have to come back to the point, because at the end of the day, the readers are going to read our article or our writing. So if that does not make sense to them, then the piece is useless or worthless. So we have to make sure that we come to the point at some point, like at the time. So,
Yeah.
what are your views regarding criticism? Do you think it's a necessary evil?
Criticism is not necessarily an evil. It depends on how people who are criticizing and the people who is taking the criticism. If the person, for example, I'm being criticized by someone else, the criticism might give you the spirit of competition and to prove yourself, but criticism might also make you underestimate yourself, discouraged. So it depends on how you take it, and largely depends on your mindset, and also the mindset of people who is criticizing you. Like, if we are criticizing someone else, we have to understand, why are we criticizing them? Did we look after ourselves first? Do you think you are worth to criticize someone else? Like, you have to criticize yourself, you have to tell to yourself, not to the others. So I feel it depends on both the mindsets, both the parties.
Right. There's a famous saying that when you point a finger at somebody, four fingers are pointing back at you. So it's easy to criticize, definitely, but it's the maturity level of the person who's listening that has to judge that is this criticism worthwhile taking. Because if we take those criticism as a good way, then definitely it will improve us at the end of the day. So
Yeah,
about the mindset and the maturity level of the listener. Like, if you are accepting of your criticism, then it's definitely, it'll help you, and if you will get discouraged, then it'll go in the negative direction as well. So it
yeah.
just, it depends on the mindset. So according to you, what good qualities an essay should have?
The good like, when I was in fourth grade, my teacher told me about writing. She said that most of the writing, whatever you write in an order, has an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. It's like a burger, two buns between and the main body. So that's how my teacher told me, and I feel that's true. Even in an essay, you should have an introduction, a conclusion. A body is largely depends on what you think and all your work. So you have to have these three compartments. These are very important. We should not go up, like, jumbling them. And in the introduction, you have to give a very catchy overview about your topic, like, so that the reader actually feels like reading, because the reader has to read it. And the body should actually stand to the point. Like, you gave a title, a very catchy title, a very catchy introduction, but the body is not to that point. So that you have to make it to that point, for which your knowledge and vocabulary, your literary skills together have to work parallelly. So I feel that you should have some experience in literary work. Like, you should know how to write, you should feel the emotions, you should know about your topic, and you should write in a chronological order, not just don't jumble things around. And make sure that your whole essay is in the right path. It's just not going too high or too low.
I hope the participants and the viewers listen to this and take note, because this is something that's very important. And we constantly say this, that introduction, body, and conclusion is needed. But until and unless people get it out of the mouth of someone who has already done this or has experienced this, people don't believe it, or people don't include it in their lives. So it's very important to, like, hearing you say this, it's very important for them to listen and follow that advice as well. Who has been the biggest
Yeah.
inspiration in your journey so far?
So if I have to talk about my life, biggest inspiration is for anyone is their parents. Like they see their parents and they learn how they have to be in the future, how they have to be with people around them. So my parents are the biggest inspiration, and that's they are the one who gave me the boost to do, like, you do something. You're no less than a boy. You're a girl. You're just a, you are like everyone else, but you can be extraordinary, but still be humble, down to ground. Never go too high. Don't estimate yourself too high or too low. So they taught me how to live a life, and I still have to learn. I'm definitely not that experienced like that. And if I have to talk about specifically space, why I took space, though I have interest in biology, medicine, the reason is that there are a couple of scientists who really inspired me. Like I felt like I have to be like them. Um, One is Stephen Hawking for sure. He was he did not have he could not do it. If someone was in his position, they would stop their work, but he did it consistently. So he was one. And so for the will, like a woman can do it, is Marie Curie. She said like she had children, she had her husband died, but she still did it, and she got 2 Nobel Prizes. I felt like this is how a person has to be with this will. So these two are the main inspiration for my career, like choosing this career of space and research specifically.
It's interesting because the determination that they showed was something that can inspire a lot of people. Because talking about Stephen Hawkins, the position that he has, like he was in, his body was not like supporting him. Still, he did something so great that normal people also cannot do it. So
Yeah.
they definitely inspire at some point of time. So, and especially your parents being supportive of you, they are the wind behind your wings. So it's really nice to like listen to what you're saying. Now, talking about
Yeah.
writing, we have talked about writing a lot. What do you think about reading? Do you think that reading also is important in some way?
Yes, if you have to write, you have to read. You have to understand, then you can write. And one of the best ways of understanding things is that reading. Now, am I right? I'm writing an article. I'm writing the article for someone else to read it and understand. So these two are very correlated, and it is very important to read. I specifically read a lot, but not a lot of storybooks. The reason is that if I start reading storybooks, I will never stop. So I don't read storybooks for that reason. That might be a weird reason. But I often read books which are like biographies and most of my textbooks and things which are above my grade. I don't want to always read my textbooks. I'm so bored of it. Reading something above my grade. So reading is very important. The reason I could write an essay is that, like, I could write a 10 pages essay because I understood what it is. I read about it. I researched about it. So reading is very important if you want to write. So that's the reason I say reading and writing are correlated and they go parallel.
Right, because in these times, people often focus about your speaking skills, about your writing skills, but somewhere people don't understand that until and unless you read, you won't be able to develop your writing as well as your speaking skills. Because we need the vocabulary, we need the opinions, we need some facts, and if we don't read them, our mind cannot get developed. So this is a chunk where people lag, and people think that reading is not that important. If we can write, if we can speak, that's it. That's the end of the story. But it's important
Yeah,
for people to understand that reading is as much important as anything else. So
true.
it was really nice to get your thought on that. Lastly, I want to ask, that do you have any message for the future contestants and participants of this competition that you want to give out?
So it's a very simple message. Number one, just because I came second, it does not mean I'm very experienced in essay writing. To be honest, before this essay, I wrote 2 essays. That's it, and that was one from a school competition and other one more for the other. So it is does not depend on your experience a lot. Don't think, oh my gosh, I don't know how to write an essay. How will I do this? Don't underestimate yourself in the very beginning of it. Just make your mind, I'm going to do this. Let it happen or not. It's no, you're not writing for you to come first or second. You're writing to put your knowledge in the paper. Do the best of it. And though you have to know the basic structure, just see some videos or just read some articles, you'll get how to write an essay. But the basic is that you have to understand why you're writing, how you're writing, and what you're gonna write. So this is very important. And if you are gonna fulfill these three very passionately and with all your heart, then it's like you can just do it. Like it's not that hard. So yeah.
It seriously is, because somewhere these ranks and these positions are definitely a push for us, but at the end of the day it helps us improve in what we are doing. If we constantly do that same thing and we are perseverant enough, then definitely success will be there for us and for everyone to see.
Yes.
So it was a wonderful message from you, and I had a lovely time in talking to you and getting your inputs on things. And it really does not seem that you're just in class 8. You are matured enough, your thought processes are, developed, and it's really great. And your parents would be so proud of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And it's a great pleasure to be on this platform too.
Thank you so much for talking to us. It was lovely talking to you. Thank you.